Hey guys, I got Geoff Horner on here. We're going to be discussing new startup and what's ahead. Hey Geoff, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I've been listening for a while, so it's cool to actually be on it. So,
yeah, man. Thank you. Yeah, man. So I know you contacted me and you told me you wanted to, you're looking at starting up and, how can I help? And I said, well, the best way I can help you is, to do a consultation like this, figure it out and understand you first. And then try to help a bunch of other people who have the same exact question. There's thousands of people wanting to do this. And cool. They all have the same questions and the same concerns and the same fears. And so it's just about, navigating through it and learning how, how are you best suited to do what you're going to be doing and where your weaknesses are and where your strengths are. So just tell me your story. I mean, tell me how you got into pest control. What's been your experience in pest control? How long you've been doing this? What's the story there?
Yeah, I really started when I was, it's probably about junior high, about 13 or 14. And I was on the entomology team. And so it was interesting because the person in charge of the entomology team, he was a high school teacher for like chemistry. But he did entomology on the side. And so he asked me and my brother if we would be willing to, start identifying bugs and all this stuff. And so we kind of thought,
sweet,
sure, why not? Let's see what it is. And so we ended up doing really well on the team. Finally, my senior year, I got 5th in the state of Indiana and our team got 2nd. So I got really good at identifying bugs. But to me, it just stopped there. Like I didn't think there was a business in it or,
right,
a job even. So I went ahead and my other passion is golf. And so I was on the golf team and had a scholarship in college to play golf. And so that's a path I pursued. And then things happen. And, next thing I know, I grew up on a farm. And so I think it was Orkin actually that came out and they were doing pest control around our house. And so I was just talking to him about, okay, so what do you guys do? And I realized I talked to him and, I'd ask him what this bug is and all that stuff. And he had no idea. He just was like, I don't know. I just kill them. And I was like, oh, so what else, do you, and so that's how I kind of started getting into, well, maybe there's something else here that I should be, I could do with my bug background. So then I worked for, McLeod's, which is based down. For me, I worked out of Indianapolis, but I had all of northern Indiana, so I'd go all the way up to South Bend, and I loved working for them. And then I ended up going to Rose Pest Solutions, which is it's basically in Michigan, but it's northern Indiana also. Right. So I worked at their Fort Wayne office.
Now, are they truly the oldest pest control company in America?
I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
I think that's what they claim, that they're the oldest pest control company in America. So that's interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, I learned so much from those two companies.
Right.
And then, for me, it was kind of hard at first just because you have this reputation kind of, you're the bug guy or, and to me, it wasn't necessarily a good thing at times. People would be like, yeah, no, you deal with bed bugs, you deal with this and you deal, gross, you kill things. And so I kind of stepped away for a little bit. And then I was like, no, I enjoy it. I love it. And so I'm just like, why would I, have other people's opinions matter that much that I wouldn't do what I enjoy? And people need us, obviously, So I found a job with Terminix's sales, but it didn't work out. And so I just decided, well, why not do my own? Because they didn't want to do some stuff around where I live. They said there's not enough business there.
Right.
And so they were going to direct me out of South Bend, which is a 2-hour drive one way. And I was like, there's no way I can do that. So so I decided to step out on my own. And that was about 2 years ago this March. And I haven't looked back and I love it. So
yeah. And you already started up?
Yeah, I started up. My parents had helped me out to get started. So I was lucky that way. But then I also kind of want to prove it to myself first, because I'm like, well, they said there's not enough business here. Is there really enough business? Because I live between we live in Markle, which is between Huntington and Bluffton. And I was doing some research the other day. There's about 20,000 households between the two counties.
Okay.
And so I'm just kind of like, is that enough even for just a one-man operation to begin with? And I've been busy and, bringing in new customers a lot. So, so I proved to myself now that, yes, this is going to work. For one, I do know what I'm doing going out on my own, because it's a big difference between relying on guys that's in your office that you just don't know, but thank goodness with Facebook and, I've been able to reach out to some other guys to go, can you guys help me on this or that? Or, am I doing it right? That type of stuff. So,
right. Good. So what was your experience mainly in McLeod? Are they mostly commercial?
Commercial. Yeah. I did all commercial for them. And I really love doing commercial. Like I love doing with the mice and rats and stuff like that. I don't know why, but I just do.
Right.
And so I did that mostly. I did a lot of warehouses. And the thing that got me at McLeod's was I did a grain bin or a grain setup. And so I was there about a day and a half every week and just killing mice all the time. I'd probably kill, probably 100 every week, just because you're never going to get rid of them. You just have to keep, checking the traps and killing them and moving.
Right.
And
Management.
And that kind of got to me after a while. And it was just like, this is all, but, I've learned a lot. I mean, that helped me in a lot of other accounts that I do now. Right. So
how long have you been in total pest control now? When you started working?
Yeah, let's see. So 7 years with other companies and then 2 years on my own. So about 9 years now.
9 years. Okay. So you've been 2 years on your own. Okay. Mm-hmm. And with Rose, you primarily focused on what, residential?
Well, it was both. It was basically like 70-30 commercial.
Got it. Okay. So you stayed in that realm.
Yeah, but it gave me enough of commercial or residential to know that, there's two totally different animals. When
it is,
it is. People go, oh, I can just do both, and I'm like, there's different things to both. And
once you it's like when I teach my guys about LNO and GHP. If they like doing GHP, they hate doing LNO, and if they like doing LNO, they really can't stand GHP, and vice versa with commercial. They're all different animals. They all require different disciplines. You think you're killing, but it's it's a different discipline. When I had my guy on a lawn care, and I got commercial property that it'll take 3 days to do.
Oh my gosh.
3 days on one property.
One job.
One job with lawn, because we were doing so many. We're doing several thousand acres. I mean, several acres on this property. It's just that they're condominium complexes, and they're you can't do hose. You got to do ride on and then do backpack, and then you're switching back and forth. And then some of my GHP guys, I would try to help them understand the LNO. And I've already been on this property an hour and a half, man. I want to get out of here. I mean, because they're used to that 15-minute, 20-minute stops. Yeah. So mentally, everything is a mental game almost. It's really not so much about what you're actually doing. It's the mental game. Like you said, man, I'm tired of doing this rodent thing for, all day long. And is this all there is to life? This mice killing, know? And it gets to you sometimes, and it depends on how you're wired. This is why this is so, like, trying to do consulting is not a cookie cutter thing where it's really a personal thing and how that person is wired. You mentioned about your demographics. Germanex didn't think that there's enough there because they're thinking on a different scale.
Right.
They're thinking, I need to get maximum revenue and we got to get it to this or else it isn't worth it for us. For you, depending on your income needs, it may be totally worth it and you're totally happy.
Yeah.
So again, there's no wrong and right unless you really screw it up.
Right.
but for the most part, it's really going to depend on you. Like you've been doing for 2 years. So what's been your experience like from your startup to now, 2 years later? How many customers do you have right now as a customer base? I
have about 60 quarterly customers right now.
Okay.
So, I mean, I haven't really pushed real hard. Like I've done some, and it's more by word of mouth. I fell for some gimmicks at the beginning, where they're like, and it was expensive. It was like $3,000 to put these ads on shopping carts and Kroger's. Now this was before COVID.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, people are sitting there staring at whatever with the shopping cart. I got one call.
And the advertising industry, the traditional advertising industry is dead. They just don't know that you don't know that.
Right. I know now.
Yeah. And that's the biggest sham that there is, that, you're wanting to put, I got guys trying to sell me, bus benches.
Oh.
The problem is everybody at a light, the moment they get to that light, their face is buried in the phone.
That's true. Yeah.
Nobody's looking around saying, oh, gee, I just needed a chiropractor this weekend. Yeah. If I need a chiropractor, I go to Nextdoor, I go to Google, I go to Facebook. I don't even bother asking my neighbors anymore. Like, who do you use? I look at reviews and I say, if this guy's got 600 reviews, that's what I'm going to go with.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to bring or talk to you more about that too. Like, who should I really,
So, and with the 60 something customers you've acquired in 2 years, is it covering your expenses and your bills where you live?
Yeah.
It is. Okay, so you don't need that much. See, I couldn't do anything with 60 customers. I starved to death here in Miami. To me, unless I get to 150 customers minimum, 200 customers, there's no way I could live. So with 60 quarterly customers, what's a quarterly service going for, by the way, where you're at in your area?
100.
100 quarterly, okay.
Yeah, now the 60 customers, that's the quarterly ones. I have a lot of one-time customers so far. Yeah, last summer was, oh my gosh, I did a ton of bee work. Bees are just horrible last year, more than usual.
I heard about that. I was talking to Critter McCool about that, and there has to be something with the weather going on. But he told me the same thing. It was crazy.
And actually, I was talking to him about it too on one of our Facebook groups we have. I was like, "What is going on?" And he goes, "We don't know. It was just the right temperature at the right time, and all that." So it's like, and it never ends.
Yeah, here I haven't had too much. We've been going crazy with rodent work. Where I used to get 1 to 2 maybe rodent calls a week. We're not notorious for doing rodents. I'm getting anywhere between 3 to 5 calls a day.
Oh wow!
And because we're such a densely populated city, we got 1.8 million people in one county. I've got within a mile radius of me 50,000 homes.
Oh my goodness! See, that would be
So we're so dense, and so when all the restaurants closed down, and Bobby Corrigan was talking about this, they all moved out. They were closed for 2 to 3 months here, and these guys all moved into now the suburbs, and they ain't going back. They're going to be breeding there. So one rodent, and now we can't wait. This happened all summer. Now we gotten cold. The population is down a little bit. When summer hits, we're going to have thousands, and then people didn't realize they don't have exclusion in their home until now. So we're getting call after call. We're gearing up for that now, where we've never had to do so much rodent work. And then you have a demographic. Here's what we're going to talk about: demographics, where the average income per capita here is about 46,000.
Okay.
But we have a 50% rental market, because unless you're making 85,000 a year gross household income, you're not buying a house in Miami.
Oh wow!
So everybody's renting, and then landlords are not fixing up their homes; they're just making money. And they tried to do this, since the down and the up of the market. Yeah. So we have all these demographics issues that you don't have, so you gotta, you're in Indiana, so you're gonna have brick home, and then you're gonna have siding homes.
Yep. Totally
different construction. We have block. So all of these things in play a role in there. So you're covering your bills. How are you going to? What are you doing for marketing right now?
Right now, it's just word of mouth. I've got my truck. I've got like a magnetic sign I had made to put on both sides. I'm now realizing it's not necessary. It's great, but I need something on the back of it. I don't have anything on the back, and that's where most people see it. So now I'm fixing up my truck to make sure that it looks nice, and then I'll get the same guy to put something back there for me. So And then I have some yard signs, and I do a little bit on Facebook. Not a whole lot. I probably should do a lot more on Facebook and Google, but I just haven't. So
I would, if you've got, and we'll talk a lot about the marketing part, because this is where everybody gets hammered. Like these guys are preying, all these marketing companies. I don't care if it's Yelp, I don't care if it's Nextdoor, I don't care who it is. They're all preying on you because you don't have experience in marketing.
Right.
You might have experience in sales, but no experience in marketing. And they're preying on you that you don't. They're your ignorance and your desperation to get new clients. That they're going to target you really heavily. They're not good. When they call me on the phone, I says, "Oh, you have to talk to our marketing director." Click. Because they realize they're never going to get anywhere. They're not. They already know we got it figured out, and that we're not. And even if you don't have it figured out, that's a great tactic. You just say, "Yeah, we have an in-house marketing team that handles all that."
That's a good way to say it.
And then that way you get rid of all these guys that are really never going to offer you any real solution. And we're going to talk about some of the tactics that you can implement there.
Okay.
But so you're basically doing word of mouth, which is great. If you're doing word of mouth, okay, I would be contacting my customers on a regular basis. Text, email, set up a system to where you automate that process of communication with your existing clients.
How much is too much? I mean, like if I did it once a month, is that too much?
I would do once a month. Any more than that, they're going to, unless you have something interesting to really tell them. And what you need to do is, hey guys, build out for yourself a marketing calendar for that for the year. In other words, if you realize you're going to start getting certain pests at certain times of the year, make a list of all the pests when they start, and start doing the month before they get hit with the problem. You see, so now you're in educating your client. Hey, listen, box elder beetles are usually between May and June. You're going to start seeing these problems. This is normal. Our pest control service is handling. I just want to let you know. But if they do manage to get into your house, feel free to give me a call. By the way, make sure you also recommend me and tell your neighbors about this.
Okay, gotcha.
You see, so you're educating them first. You're not spammy. You're educating them, but then you're asking for something in return for that free advice.
Gotcha. Okay.
Rodent season is coming. Make sure you prepare for this. We're going to thaw out, and this time of year, this is what's going to be happening. Make sure that you prepare for this. They'll be sharing that with their friends. They'll be sharing that. You need to make something that's shareable that they're not going to feel embarrassed about. Okay. And that they're going to actually, and you need to just get creative. You need to know your pest in your area and start doing, and then maybe a text. You do a combination of text and email, because everybody doesn't look at their email all the time, especially if they're older. But older people are on a cell phone now, and they all have text.
Right.
So you might write a blog. You might write a page on your website. Do you have a website?
Yes, I do.
Write a page.
It's done through Wix, so I can do a.
And what you do is you write that same as a little blog, and then you send them a link to it on their text, so they don't have to read all that on their phone. By the way, little short. Understand, people are in high-speed mode, no matter where they live now anymore. Everybody's on hyper mode, and so you just send them a little blurb, a Twitter. Hey, box elder beetles are coming within the next 2 months. Here's a little article I wrote on it, so you're informed. It's very quick. Here's a link to it.
Okay.
And that way, but they know what it is about, and then you do that I would do this monthly, at least. Start writing about it. And understand you're not going to write for SEO, because that gets really complicated. You're writing for your customer. And there's a big difference writing for SEO to gain customers. You could, if you're a good writer and you understand on-page SEO, and then you understand, setting up your silos and setting up things for your website for your blog. But if you don't, you're writing for your customer at this point.
Okay. That's where I'll start. So
yeah. So if that's your target right now, my idea is start where you are.
Okay.
These are easy fixes that you can get some quick wins. So if you got 60, and let's say maybe you can get a 10% return. That's another 6.
Yeah.
And you're automating this. So you're putting these, you can use like MailChimp. And you can MailChimp, you can automate all these throughout the year. You can set them up and say, this one's going to release in June. This one's going to release in April. This was,
cool.
and you can write it out for your entire year. Now it's automated.
Okay.
And there's even platforms that you can use for texting where you automate the text, but a text is really quick to send it to your base.
Mm-hmm.
If you only got 60, then you're probably going to have to get into software that allows you to dump all those numbers in and automatically, and then you get it, 3 cents, to 6 cents a send, but it's manageable. You're at a point where you're manageable. You're doing 100 a quarter. In Miami, we're not too far off. We're like 120 a quarter, 125 a quarter right now for most companies.
Okay.
So, if your cost of living is a lot lower, like you are, what's the average price of a home right now? 3-bedroom starter home, 2-bath.
It's probably about 150,000.
See there, a couple making 1,500 a month can own a home. Mm-hmm. Here, we're starting out at 3.25 to 400,000.
Jeez.
So you see how much more money we need here than you need.
Yeah.
In your area to start a business. It's all relevant to your market. So you've got 100-something thousand. What's the average income right now, home income in your area? Demographics.
The median household income is about 56,000.
Look at that. You're $10,000 higher than we are in income. Yet we are almost 3x the cost of living.
Jeez. That's crazy, I tell you.
You see the difference. So you're in your area, your people are living very well. They have upper middle class status. We're here with the same income, you're lower class.
Wow.
You're nobody. You're not making it. So that is so you're doing very good with your margins. Your expenses on average are going to be the same. Product wise, it's not going to vary much. What you're paying.
I was going to ask you, how do you, I keep seeing people on Facebook that say, hey, I need to talk to my rep for whatever. I mean, I don't think I'm there yet to where, could cut a deal or whatever, because I don't do that much business. Eventually I will, I hope.
Shop it around. Who's giving you the best service and who's giving you the best price? Over here, it's really, service. What we care about, at least what I care about in service right now from my supplier, is number one is, yes, I need a competitive price. You can't charge me 18 to 20% more when you're all I'm doing is placing a phone order. You're taking the order of the phone and delivering it to me, or me picking it up. There's no value there. It's a commodity. Pesticide is a commodity. What I want from my supplier is, hey, listen, he's contacting me on a regular basis, letting me know, hey, I know you're buying these products. Right now they're on sale. You might want to stock up because you're going to save some money. Mm-hmm. Or, hey, when I need to ask you a question about the product, that you're knowledgeable. And then when there's a problem with my product, how are you handling it? Because right now I got to contact the manufacturer if there's a problem. I can't contact my rep. Mm. My distributor says, I'm a distributor, I'm a retailer, but I really don't handle that. We don't take returns on damaged product. You need to talk to the manufacturer. They need to replace it. That right there can take, during COVID, a manufacturer took over 3 weeks to get me the product. I had to just keep buying it. I mean, it was totally useless to deal with that. So again, at what level of service, I would see who's closer to you. It might be that you're easy to drive there. And it might be worth it for you because you're 8 minutes away, 20 minutes away.
See, there's nobody here. I've been trying to get somebody to, Fort Wayne is our biggest city, and it's close to probably 300,000 or 400,000. Okay. Ben Williams, I don't know if you know who.
I know Ben. Yeah.
He's in Fort Wayne.
Okay, so, got it. Okay.
But there's a lot of people in Fort Wayne, and then we have to go all the way down to Indy, and that's where they all are, is down in Indy, and that's 2 hours away.
Right. So it's how do you get your product now?
Do my own.
Okay. Again, we do my own too, because a lot of the time my local supplier, which is 18 miles from me, doesn't have it. I have the other way. I have it on my L&O supplier, which focuses more on agriculture. And we buy all our L&O products from them because they're way cheaper and they're 18 miles the other way. Mm. So we're 30 minutes. I can be there back. My guys go get it. Mm. My other supplier, my main supplier, is actually 50 miles from me. But they deliver the next day or the day after. So I will place my order for the month and say, you know, I need this for my trucks, and that's it. And then if I need something like one of these three don't have it and they can't get it to me, Do My Own can get it to me in 3 days.
Okay.
The funny part about Do My Own is when it comes to one of my other suppliers, their prices are actually lower with better service.
Yeah.
And with more attention and better service than Target. And Target is my main supplier where I get the best price and the best service from. But they're 50 miles away. But they're delivering to me if I place a $200 order.
Okay.
So if I just need a $30 product, the chances are my price right now difference is between 5 and 15% with Do My Own.
Okay.
And I get it in 3 days shipped to my door. So if I want to do a test product, I don't want to bother my supplier. I'm not going to order $200. I'll just order one bottle from them to test it out, and then I'll place my regular order if I like it through my regular supplier.
Right.
Now, a lot of people are going to have huge issues with that because, Do My Own sells to everybody. There's so much stuff going on behind the scenes in the industry that you don't even know about, that if you did, you would just lose it with everybody and say, I'm not buying from anybody. And that's not reality. Business is business. You just got to move on and get it over with. But that's, the reality. So, yeah, you just got to do what you got to do to do your business. I mean, you got to survive and you got to do your business. If nobody understands it, you got to get over that fact that everybody's going to criticize me for this or that, because nobody understands my situation. Nobody understands your situation.
Well, didn't Do My Own. They just got bought out too.
I said that 8 months ago. I said they're going to get bought out. So watch on my podcast, and everybody's like, I hate them. Huh? They're going to get bought out. They got bought out by a big company. I mean, these guys are big, in the billions big. So that was good for them. And it's just a reality. I mean, every manufacturer is making way more money selling to Do My Own than they are selling to us. Right. We're 1 to 5% of the entire pesticide industry. We're small. So retail to home is way bigger.
So how do we help the do-it-yourselfers? I mean, is there a, and this is kind of what I've been playing around with, is there a way we could do that and make money ourselves, of course, but to be able to help them out? Because I get a lot of people like, well, I try to do it myself, and now you just
what age are we in? What age are we in?
Everybody, the internet.
We're in the information age.
Yeah.
The guy who gives the most information wins. The end. Because people want to be informed. People are tired of being spammed. I mean, if you look at Seth Godin, when he was with Yahoo, he engineered the term the Permission Marketing Society. Permission marketing. I give you my email. I give you permission to market to me. I didn't give you my email. I'm not giving you permission. I get spammed all the time. Anybody who spams me automatically gets deleted. I don't even watch it because you didn't even provide any value. Right. To give me any information. You're just automatically getting. I don't even bother to unsubscribe. It takes too much time. It's just simple to just do this, and I get 100 emails a day. So the guy. I mean, if you follow me on my Nature Pass channel, which is on YouTube, that's our biggest source of income right now, and that's producing leads for other guys because they're saying, "Hey, do you have? I'm here in Indiana. Do you have a guy here?" I'm like, "No, I don't have a guy. I'm in Florida only, but let me find you somebody." So, we've got 4,700 subscribers right now on my Nature Pest channel. Okay. You see, and a lot of that is SEO'd for local. Okay. And so if you're doing YouTube and you can get over the microphone fear and the fear of being on camera and the fear of being criticized, the fear of getting it wrong, and all the fears, you have more fears as a pest control guy than customers have of being bit by arachnids.
It's true.
And if you get over that, you can be the local guy that everybody looks to because everybody's on YouTube. Everybody's on Facebook. I for your audience, I'd be seriously looking at Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Okay. You don't need to do too much because you can do the same thing across the platforms.
Okay.
You create yourself your own page on YouTube with your brand. You create your own page on Facebook with your brand, and create one on Instagram, and Facebook and Instagram are linked together because they bought out. right there, you can dominate your market with people who are online, because everybody's online.
Mm-hmm.
You think because I'm not, some people say, well, I'm not online. Well, just because you're not doesn't mean everybody else isn't.
Right.
The world doesn't revolve around you.
Mm-hmm.
It revolves around your clients. So what my position is, I want to be where my people are,
right,
wherever they are. If they're on TikTok, yeah, but that's for little kids. I said, yeah, it might be for little kids, but there's grandma watching with the little kid. And kids are going, look, grandma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
And now it's matured where it's no longer. Have you seen their ads on television? They're like, it's where you learn in 1 minute how to bake a cake.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so that's where it's moving. They've matured now. It isn't about the little kids and the videos and the songs. Look at their ads, where they're going. Every platform is going to mature. Facebook right now is, I don't know how you are. You're probably in your late 30s?
Mid 40s, but thanks.
Okay. All right. So you look a lot younger.
That's good.
You know, so you're in your mid 40s.
Mm-hmm.
That's your audience right there. Mm-hmm. Facebook. That's probably your customer too.
Mm-hmm.
They're in their 30s. They're 30 somethings that are buying homes and older.
It was interesting because the median age for the 2 counties I serve is right at 40. So I'm like, I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on like these others, and
you're
I'm
missing
like,
out.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to, and just basically post stuff that's informative, that's educational, that's entertaining. Follow people like Gary Vee. I mean, he's got it figured out.
Oh yeah,
do it.
I listen to him all the time.
You listen, but don't listen to him. Do it.
Yeah. Okay.
There's no glory in the knowing. The glory is in the implementing. And just implement it. Just decide on one platform and get good at it. And then maybe in 6 months you do another platform. Don't try to do all 3 because then you get overwhelmed. Just do one. I mean, I record right now with a phone on the street, and I don't even have a microphone. No, but you need a microphone. You don't need anything. These things are so freaking good that I can go into Premiere and within 10 seconds fix all the audio in 10 seconds.
Oh wow!
With Premiere, and then edit the video and upload it and do it, and I get it done within an hour. The whole thing.
Is that what do you mean by Premiere? Is that a software?
Yeah, Premiere is a company made by Adobe. It's
Adobe, okay.
Yeah, Adobe Premiere, and they got a suite. We use their entire suite. We pay like $59 a month. I think they went up in price now, but like $59 a month. We get Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Premiere. The whole suite, Adobe Audition, audio, everything, because I've been using Adobe for 20 years because I was in radio and television, and I did all that, and I've done videos on how easy. I actually have a video on my Pest how easy it is in 15 minutes to edit a video and process it and do it. It's not that hard. So getting over this, I don't know what software and microphone, and just take your phone, and shoot yourself, and shoot the problem, and even if they're 1 minute. Hey, here's where your rodents are getting into your house. 1 minute video. Here's another one where rodents are getting into your house. Another 1 minute video. Here is how you can prevent pests from being in your home. Here's how. Here's how you solve an ant problem. These are the products we use. I tell everybody what products we use. Why? Because your customer if your customer has all that information available online, they don't want to do it.
Right.
Bottom line, if they did, they would have done it. Because they know all that information. They know about Twitter. They know about LinkedIn. They know about all the social media platforms they're on. They know how to go to a group and ask questions if they wanted to.
Yeah, it's true.
You're catering to that top 10% of your money makers. Look at your clientele right now. Now, we looked at the demographics, right? Let's actually look at your clients. Are your clients representative of that demographic, or are they in a higher income than that demographic?
A little bit higher income.
See? Yeah, because they don't have the time. They don't want to mess. Wife doesn't want to mess with it. Husband is busy making money and doing what he does. You're selling your expertise and your time to people that don't want to spend the time and the expertise to learn it. If you got a guy who lives in an apartment and you're part of town where it's the low end bracket, he's going to eat up your content all day long. What is he going to do? Here's what he's going to do for you. He's going to like, he's going to comment, he's going to share.
That's true.
And he's going to boost you up in the ranking so that everybody else who wants to buy from you can buy from you.
Okay.
you're trading for eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're doing with that marketing is that you become the local guy who's the local expert.
Okay.
Because you're going to do everything for SEO. In YouTube, there's a place to put what your location you shot that video in.
Oh wow. Okay.
And it's gonna geotag that video to that location. When you put that in your keywords and you put it inside the description,
Mm-hmm.
anybody who's in that area that pulls up anything about pest, it's going to show up just like you do on Google on the 3-pack.
Oh wow. I didn't know that. That's cool.
And Google My Business. You need to be on Google My Business.
Okay. I think I have something there, but I haven't really messed with it.
Right. You need to be on Google My Business. If you're not getting Google reviews, and you need to open up a Yelp account, whether you buy any advertising on Yelp or not.
Okay.
And you need to get reviews there. You need
Okay.
to ask your customer for those reviews.
All right.
When you're in the house, hey, by the way, I'm finishing up your paperwork. Can you do me a favor? Can you give me a review right now?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you get it. And you need to do that
Okay.
because reviews are going to matter so that you show up. But get somebody, if you don't know how to research it, spend some time watching Google My Business, but you need to be on Google My Business. You need to show up on those maps locally. If you don't show up on that map, because people are good, here's the way it works: ads, maps, organic search.
Okay.
People are lazy. They're
Gotcha.
either going to go for the ad if she's one of these women that has money that she doesn't care what it costs. She's going to click that ad and look at that company.
Okay.
If not, you're going to go down to the maps area, and then if you don't pop up with 15 reviews and 5 stars, you're irrelevant.
Okay.
And these are free. These are not going to cost you any money. It's going to cost you some time to learn it.
All right. And I've got time. I mean, with it being winter time around here,
you got 3 months now so you got all this time to do all this research. I would focus on Google My Business, open up a Yelp account.
Okay.
And get your customers to say, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you give me a Yelp review if you're on Yelp? The thing with Google My Business is that if a customer doesn't have a Gmail account,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard because then now they got to subscribe.
Oh, okay.
But here's what you do. If you have your customers' email accounts, you know who has a Gmail, and you target them.
Okay.
Because you know they can give you an instant review. All they got to do is click that link. You send them the link to your Google My Business review account. They immediately go on there. They're already logged in.
Gotcha.
Chances are because they're logged in on Google.
Mm-hmm.
They're for their profile and their tracking, they're on every phone is logged in with their account.
Okay.
So those are easy wins. You got to find the easy wins that are not going to take you 3 years to build up.
Right.
That you can start winning. So that is what I would be doing. So there you got 5 platforms now that you can be on in a different way. Post on Google My Business, just like you post on your blog.
Mm-hmm.
They now have blog posts on Google.
Oh, really?
You want to put up as many pictures as you can of problems.
Okay.
You want to put up a blog. If you can do one weekly, that would be great on Google, because that's not too much.
Okay. So, do you get permission from the people then? Because you're at their house, and do you tell them do you mind if I?
Yeah, you can ask them. Some people don't mind because a lot of the problems you're going to find, you're going to remove the EXIF data. And that's another thing you need to learn how to do is go in and remove all the EXIF data. I don't track EXIF data on my phone, so I take it off so it doesn't track where that picture was taken.
Okay.
There's no geotag on it. And then if I'm taking a picture of a wall, it's not going to show the address. It's not going to show the person. I'm not in their home filming.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time I do, and I film in the home, but, hey, can I shoot this? I'm going to take a picture of this. And they're like, fine, it's underneath the sink. Nobody knows who I am. It's not going to show up anywhere. People, they do have a problem being on camera.
Right.
But
especially for our business.
Yeah, they're not going to want to be on camera and say, yeah, I had bed bugs and he solved it for me. You're not going to get that testimonial because there's a stigma. Nobody's going to say, yeah, I had roaches and he solved it. That's where we have a struggle. So we have to get creative with the marketing to solve a lot of these problems, because people are not going to volunteer to be on camera for us and give us a testimony. You may get a video testimonial. Oh, he's been my pest control guy for the last 5 years and he's been wonderful and awesome. Mm-hmm. They're just not going to talk about the issue.
Right.
So you got to be, can you do that? Can you take a video for me and say, you've been my customer for 3 months and put it up on your YouTube channel?
Mm-hmm.
Do they want their face plastered? Maybe they're a doctor. Maybe they're, Secret Service agent. They don't want to be on camera for a certain reason. Things like that. Like cops, they don't want their addresses revealed because they take them off the local databases.
Mm-hmm.
They remove them, so people can't find who they are. They're not going to be socially active. So things like that. I mean, those are. So you've got, we got the demographics. We've got a little bit of your property. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Okay.
How good are you at selling?
Okay. I mean, I've had a lot of experience with it, doing different industries and stuff. Okay. But yeah.
Now, what are you most comfortable with, an inbound lead, or how good are you at going out and prospecting for clients?
Probably inbound lead, but I'm going to be working really hard at doing the, going out and drumming up business.
Right. How comfortable are you at door knocking?
I was just going to talk to you about that.
Okay.
Because really what I was looking at, and again, this is just residential, because I was wanting to talk to you about, commercial also. Right. But for residential, with there being like 20,000 households, I figure if I get 420 homes, let's just say, that ends up being like $168,000 or whatever, $100 per quarter or whatever. Right. And so
50,000 is in your county or two counties?
2 counties. And there's no other locally owned pest control company in those 2 counties. It's okay. I'm up against Orkin and then another regional company down south of us. And
you need to be on Google My Business. I can't stress that enough, because you're the only guy that's going to pop up, and you're missing all that business popping up when people are online looking. 50,000 is a lot to chew on. How many do you have within a 5-mile radius?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up.
Okay, so the easy way you look it up is go to USPS, the United States Postal Service.
Okay.
And they have a tool called the EDDM tool, the Every Door Direct Marketing tool. You plug in your address. You plug in the distance. It's going to show up how many houses are in your area, what the income is.
Okay.
In that area, and it gives you all the demographics of that 5-mile radius. Mm-hmm. Why? Because I really need you to focus on route density versus going all over the place to a second county. You need to really, because you're going to go all over the place, and you're going to try to get right now, when you're starting, you take it from wherever it comes.
Yeah.
I get it. But then you need to become strategic. And I'm going to focus. So when you're focusing your Facebook ads, is there enough people on Facebook for a 5-mile radius? When you're looking at YouTube ads, is there enough people on you to do YouTube ads within a 5-mile radius?
Okay.
Instagram and Twitter and everything starts to become around that 5-mile radius, because if you're in a 5-mile radius and you've got 3,000 homes, and you can get a 10% market share of that.
Okay.
You can be that big guy in that little pond.
Okay.
And then so you can get another 100 homes 5 miles from you. Now, instead of you driving all over the place, you're driving 15 minutes. You can do 15 stops a day.
Okay. Yeah, because the 2 towns that are like the city capital or whatever of, the county seat or whatever, they're one's about 20 minutes away and the other's about 15 minutes away. I kind of live right between the middle of them. So
okay. Yeah, I would target it.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like then I almost have to have days where I'm over in Huntington and other days where I'm over in Bluffton, and instead of I can't go from one to the other, then back. It doesn't make any sense.
We're expanding now into Broward County. Demographics are way better. We've been wanting to go there. We finally got a foothold in there, and we're going to be increasing it now to where we're going almost all the way to West Palm Beach. Now, between those 2 counties, that's 3 million people.
Oh, wow.
But it's so competitive too. Where you're going to spend almost nothing if you listen to me on this and do this free marketing thing, which is what I did, how I got all of my customers with zero money. you'll crush it in the next year.
Okay.
Without spending a dime. I got to spend $1,500 a month on SEO alone.
Oh, to be up there towards the top.
Plus ads.
Mm-hmm.
And that's $500 to $2,000 a month in ads.
Yeesh.
In addition.
And
so you got to, so you and I was able to do it. The problem is it got more competitive. My competition got smarter. They started being more competitive. Now I have to be more competitive. But you've got almost you don't have anybody local.
Right.
All those people are going to prefer, believe it or not, a local company. Mm-hmm. That Midwest mentality.
Yeah.
You got to
I've been getting that a lot.
Then you need to take advantage of the psychographics, not just the demographics.
Okay.
You need to learn now you know what money they make. Now you know how much disposable income they have because they have very low cost of living.
Mm-hmm.
And now you need to get into the psychographics of how they're thinking.
Okay.
And then understand that, and you understand that by being online, by being on Facebook. Are there any local mommy groups in the area on Facebook that you could be a part of?
Yeah, I haven't checked into that type of stuff. So
yeah, are you married?
Yep.
Okay.
3 kids.
And what does your wife do?
She's a teacher.
She's a teacher.
Yeah.
She could be on those groups for you.
Okay.
And monitoring it and telling you what's happening.
Okay.
She doesn't necessarily have to be because she might not want to.
Mm-hmm.
But she can give you the intel. Hey, so-and-so mentioned this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she'd be prompt to say, hey, this is how you solve that.
Okay.
And she can be your mouth while you're the head there and the eyes. It's about, how old are your kids?
I have an 18-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 13-year-old.
Those guys are your SEO team. They know more about this than you do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
If you can get them involved, maybe one of them will be interested in being involved and helping you at least maybe an hour a day, understanding some of this.
Okay.
Use them. I mean, that's you raised them, you paid for them. It's time for some ROI.
That's right.
So you see what I'm saying? There's you just got to think outside the box for a little bit. So sometimes we get so narrow focused.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about saying you got to work for me for 8 hours, guys. Can you do you know how to set up a group for me on Facebook? Set it up for me so I don't have to do it.
Okay.
It's delegating. The same way they throw out the trash and help out around the house.
That's right.
help. My kids, my daughter, she spent 3 hours with me sorting out paperwork. She's 11. And she said, I need all these invoices, all by piles. And I need to sort them all by piles. Then I need you to put all these gas receipts by debit card because I give my guys debit cards so that they can buy product and they can buy gas. And I said, I need them together by debit card so I know which route that's on.
Okay.
And I can track the fuel visually. And she's 11 and she did that for me.
Oh, that's cool.
On Saturday. She filed everything for me in the files. I said, I need these separated because I'm getting ready to do some tracking for my chemical analysis for the year. And I want to be able to separate them. And I put them in my Facebook, my QuickBooks. I put it in chemical by category that I use for, this is for LNO, this is for GHP.
Okay.
This is fertilizer. So I track my income because I also tracking that in pest routes. I'm tracking what I'm selling. So am I selling palm trees? What am I selling more of?
Okay.
And then I can keep track of all this. This is going to come vital for you later. But she did all that. She's 11.
Oh, that's cool. And that's the beauty of having it too.
So I know where she's strong and I can get, she loves it because she loves being that busy and doing that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
So again, use your kids. So but let's get into that door knocking thing. Are you comfortable with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because a lot of people aren't, and that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, because I believe in the company and I believe in what I'm doing. So, if they have a problem with it, then I just won't go there. Over in the other town, we used to live in Bluffton and then we had moved. So now we're in the middle, both of them. But I'd already had all the papers done, because you have to go to the sheriff's office and let them know what you're doing. And they give you a badge and all that stuff, so you're legit.
Right.
Not like you're.
Yeah, because there's issues we've been discussing, and the old way is you cloverleaf. You left a lot of door hangers. Here's the problem: the sheriffs actually don't like it.
Okay.
Because what happens is, if you're on vacation, you're not home. It tells all the thieves, hey, that door hanger's been hanging there for 3 days now. Nobody's home.
Right. Okay.
You can't put stuff in the mailbox because it's federal property, and you get dinged. But if you're at a property and you're doing a stop, you might want to cloverleaf. Go across the street and knock on that door. See, you don't have to spend an entire day knocking on doors.
Right.
But you can knock on the doors around. You say, hey, by the way, I do them, and I've been doing them for a year. Do you have a pest problem? And, but here's my card. I'll stop in next month when I'm doing the service. It's very low. Now they know who you are.
Right.
But remember, it's that repetition.
Mm-hmm. And you're there for a reason, not just walking around to.
Exactly. They know the neighbors. Mm-hmm. Chances are people know each other in your town. In my town, nobody knows who they are.
Right.
Remember, take advantage of the psychographics.
Mm-hmm.
Use everything to your advantage. What do you know about them? How can you develop this into a marketing plan? Mm-hmm. Because only you know that.
Right.
And that's what I would be doing. So if you know that, if you know that everybody's at work and you're not out there on a Saturday, maybe you want to go out on a Saturday when everybody's home.
Right.
At this time of year, 5 o'clock at night, it's already dark. Most people don't want to open the door.
Yeah.
But you're there at 2 p.m. and nobody's home.
Right. Yep.
So that's the whole thing. So it's about, understanding that. But if you can during the day, a lot of people are home now with COVID.
Yeah. Teachers
are teaching from home. My daughter's at home being taught. My son is in school. Mm-hmm. They're in 2 different schools, and they're home. A lot of people are going to be like, don't knock on the door because my son is taking classes. So, again, it's how comfortable you feel with that. Are you comfortable going into commercial?
Yeah. That's something. I'm part of the Chamber of Commerce in both of the cities. I'm members there. And so because of that, then they give you a list of all the businesses. Like I've got a spreadsheet for it, and I'm wanting to go through it and start trying to figure out who I can service and who I can't. Because there's some things I can't do because I'm not certified yet. I was, like there's a bakery that I do, but then the health department wants me to prove that I have some type of licensing for it.
Right.
I'm like, my 7A, that should be it. But they probably want that Quality Pro.
I think it's like everything. How much money can you make at it to justify the investment in your time and the return? If the return is there, because that's what I would be door knocking businesses. They're open all day long.
Yeah.
And I would be going business to business. I would create a strategy, and I used to do strategic sales. I would create a 3 to 4 prong approach.
Okay.
Do pick an area. You need to learn farming. You can't go all over the place.
Okay. And see, I'm like, I'll go over here and then I'll go over and
no, farm an area.
Wasting time.
In other words, figure out a 5-mile, 10-mile radius from you. How many of those businesses that you can service? Make a top 100 list or a top 50 list. These I know I can service. These I know I can do.
Okay.
Here's what you do. You get you can get their name, address, and email.
Mm-hmm.
And you stop by and you say, hey, I'm Geoff, and I'm the local pest control guy here. I'm independently owned. I have 7 years of experience. You give them your story. Have a story. Create your story of how you started. People love to hear stories. People don't want to hear sales pitches.
Right.
Hey, I started up 2 years ago on my own. I work for this company. I work for that company, and I started up on my own, and I'm servicing your area. And you stop by once a month, every month. But you have that 50 that you're going to stop by every month now. Now you have a targeted list. You have their email. Remember that blog I told you about?
Yeah.
Send them that blog.
Okay.
Once a month. Now you've got 2 touch points in a month.
Okay.
right? And then
Yes.
maybe you send something in the mail that's tangible,
Okay.
a postcard in the mail, and you time these maybe 7 to 14 days apart. So during the month, they've heard from you 3 times.
Okay.
Very simple strategy. Because you have to have the touch points, 10,
Okay.
13, 14 touch points.
I was going to ask you how many touch points you have to have.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the need. You might show up at the right time. They got a rodent problem, and there are other pest control companies dropping the ball. Timing is everything.
Yeah, I did that.
You can't.
I did that at a Lowe's. I showed up and they had a mouse infestation in the company.
And you got lucky.
Yeah.
And see, you're not going to get lucky every time. So you need a strategy so that you get lucky more often.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, if you ask enough girls at the bar out, one of them's going to go out with you.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, you got to find the one that has. Just remember, you have to have the need, the want, and the ability to pay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get all three, but right now they might have a contract. Hey, check back with me in 6 months. You're not going to check back in 6 months. You're going to check back in 14 days.
Okay.
You see, but you do it in perpetuity. You take that 50 list. If you can get 20, 30% within the next year for doing something that you're already in the area, you've plotted out your days. You got the time, right? You know, that's how I would do it. A 3-pronged approach. You stop by. And you drop them off some monitors and say, hey, I'm here in the area, man. I'm dropping off some monitors for you just in case you think you don't have a bug problem. Why don't we just put these out for free? And then why don't I come back in 30 days and check up on these for you to see how your pest control is doing?
Oh, that's good.
You see? That. And now they're like, I don't have problems. Oh, yeah, you do. Look how many American roaches I trapped.
Yeah.
But now you have an excuse to come back.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You know, you might drop something else off for him the next time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know,
I like that. That's good.
You see, so you just got to get creative of how you go back, and you have an excuse to come back. That's why I said the blog is always an excuse. I'm letting you know, this is happening. You got BMI conferences in your area? The local network groups?
I started with it, and then I don't know, something happened with the group, but I stayed with the group. So in one city, I'm part of. It used to be a BNI group. Now they call themselves something else, but I'm still part of it. So,
got it.
Yep.
So stick with that. So you're focusing mainly then on general residential pest control.
For right now, yeah. I mean, I just got my license to do home inspections because nobody in this area, again, would do it. They'd have to call someone that would come, So
you're a licensed home inspector.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, well, we're looking
category 12 for Indiana. All I can do is I don't treat termites. I've never done it before, so I'm just trying to. I don't.
But you can do a basic home inspection for a new owner. Then when somebody's looking to buy a home,
right?
That's what you're doing. Got it.
I just got my license last week. So
yeah, that's going to be major. Did you put that as a separate company?
No, it's under the same one that
I would talk to your insurance carrier.
Okay.
Because you have to carry insurance, right, for being a home inspector?
Yeah. Well, I'm not technically a home inspector. I'm just an inspector do the NPMA 33.
For WDI or WDO?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh, you're talking about that type of home inspection. The WDO inspection. Yeah. Got it. Okay. I got it. Okay. So if you're going to be a home inspector, then I would put it under a separate company.
Yeah. See, I don't know anything about construction. That's the one thing that I've always stayed away from. And that's hard at times when, you're doing rodent work and stuff like that. And I don't want to tear up somebody's house. And
yeah, that's my thing because I've been around home improvement since I was 14 and I'm 50.
Okay.
So I've sold home improvements and I've been in remodeling and I've been in the whole thing. I understand every part of that home.
Okay.
This is why exclusion to me and all these things are natural because I understand where the problems are going to be.
Right.
And so it's easy. So if you've got the WDO inspection, then I would be talking to realtors.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be talking. I make a list, a phone list. Mm-hmm. The cheapest way to get a hold of that guy is on the phone. Hey, say I am a, licensed, certified, whatever you can call yourself, WDO inspector, I like to see how we can work together so that you would use me and or recommend me to the clients. And but again, make a list, top 50 and pound phone, because pound phone is the easiest thing in the world. I mean, it costs you nothing.
Right.
The phone is still the most effective tool, even in this information age, to do a lot of that. I'd be on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And finding out who the local guys on LinkedIn and liking and sharing their stuff and commenting and say, hey, don't pitch. Get off that.
I hate that.
Yeah. So don't pitch. Just engage with them. Hey, man, that's great. You know, you're a golfer, dude. I'm a golfer. You know, hey, that I play so often here. I play so often there. I saw you play on this link. You know, I played there. Find something in common that you can talk about and reach out to those guys on LinkedIn. Okay. I would look, if you're going to get into commercial, I'd be looking at LinkedIn ads for local.
Okay.
Because LinkedIn ads are going to be, again, all this stuff is targetable and it's scalable. You know, so for local, if you're commercial, all the commercial guys and own businesses and stuff are going to be on LinkedIn. That's what it's for. Okay. That's what I'd be looking at. So it looks like you've got a lot, man. What else? What else did you have questions on?
Okay, so I was looking at memberships at the NPMA, and is that something that, I don't know, it's expensive.
Have you heard my beef on it lately?
No, I haven't. I'm sorry, I must have missed that one.
Yeah. So I signed up for the course, the expo that was online. And I had my MPMA membership. I didn't realize it expired. Okay. I got an email. I get a million emails. A lot of it goes to spam. It's like I get spammed. My email folder is just inundated. And I didn't realize it expired like 3-4 months earlier in December. So I'm on and I took the course and I couldn't access it. I can't access the online courses after I paid for it because my membership expired. So I get a link. And I'm texting these people and I'm chatting with them. And it's like, yeah, we don't know what's wrong. We're at all of the conference now. You'll have to wait till we get back. So I said, okay. They get back from the conference. I call them like a day later. Hey, I'm just calling you because I needed to find out what I'm going to do about this to access my courses. And I didn't realize it was the expiration at that time. And then so I wait a week and I call them back. Leave a voicemail. Nothing. I sent the email. Nothing. They're non-responsive at that time. And this was just a couple months ago. So we're not in the heat of COVID where everybody's already adjusted. I mean, we adapted. We have a 24 answering call service. We have no excuses as a business. And so I still have not been in the top. They only give it to you for 3 months access.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you don't have access for the whole year forever. You only have access. So I got to hurry up and watch all these videos. When I only have maybe an hour a day to watch one video, I don't have to watch 13, 14 videos. So I'm talking to Dominique Stumpf. I've emailed her. I mentioned her in my post. She got back to me. We still haven't been able to get hooked up. The problem with them is you got to fill out this form. There's no shopping cart. I mean, I got to print it out. I got to fill it out. I got to scan it. I got to send it back. And then it's like I get a call after another. Like right now, you saw me looking at my phone. My technician was telling me he's on his way. Jim Shuford from he's the rep for Rockwell Labs. He's texting me. Another guy is texting me. Let me see how many leads while I'm talking to you. A customer is texting me, and this is my phone all day long. I want to be able to get on when I have the time at 2:00 in the morning, just go because I'm up sometimes at 2 in the morning working. And I want to be able to just go in and do stuff in this information age. Why it is that MPMA is still requiring a paper. All that entire, 1980 website, no shopping cart. Then I get a link and it says, the link says to renew my subscription, call this number. I'm calling the number and nobody answers. Nobody returns the calls. So I'm doing what you're telling me to do. And then I need to finally just renew it. And every time I turn around to do it, I'm doing something that is, in other words, my priority, I took the course because I wanted to see what the classes were like. And I wanted to support them and I wanted to be involved. And they have so many barriers to entry. If I had all the barriers to entry that they have to get a customer, I would never get a customer.
Mhm. Yeah.
And on top of that, the value, I don't see the value for a guy who's trying to grow his business.
Okay.
The value is the courses are all taught from a technical pest control, correct IPM,
Mhm.
nothing of what you experience in the field.
All right. Yeah.
Number two is they're not related to the average guy growing his business. They're giving courses that cost $1,000 for the guy who runs a $1 million business.
Yeah, that's what I noticed.
And we're getting this cliche corporate stuff that you're never going to be able to implement at your level. Mm-hmm. So for the average guy, your local may offer you better than the national, but our local down here sucks too.
Okay.
Because they don't have any meetings. And when you have the meetings, I see all over the place, people bringing lunch, the manufacturers cater lunch for the people. No, you got to buy your own lunch.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I mean, and there's nothing going on in Region 1 of Florida Pest Management. It's dead. It's been dead forever. Man. So why do I want to subscribe to something that's dead? Mm-hmm. And the mentality and all that. So again, it has to be evaluated on the local level.
Right.
You know, when it all becomes about join us so you can support us, I don't even know what you're doing.
Right, yeah.
So when you don't know what you're doing, so to me, MPMA, I mean, you're probably, if you're looking at getting tips and stuff like that, probably really Pest Daily for sales, because his strong thing is sales and marketing. Mm-hmm. That would be something that you subscribe to. It's, I think, $69 a month. It's up there.
Yeah.
You know, for a guy like you who's not bringing in a ton of income, you know, can you implement? I mean, with what I told you, if you actually take it and you implement it, there's no reason why you can't double in a year.
That's great. That's awesome to hear.
But you got to implement.
You got to do it. Yeah.
Because at the end of the year, I'm going to call you and ask you, hey, man, how much stuff do you get done? Well, I didn't get any. Yeah, and I didn't. Well, then how many customers? Well, I got another 20. Yeah. You know, but if you're comfortable, if you're, and it's going to depend really on you. How big do you want to get? Mm-hmm. And is getting 120 clients going to give you the lifestyle you want and be okay and invest and save for the future and do what you want to do? And if that, you know, floats your boat, great. Mm-hmm. With me, I could never do it here. Mm-hmm. We have to grow or we're going to die. Because I can't be in the field for 8-10 hours a day, take all the phone calls. Like my guy's like, bro, I couldn't do what you do. I'm with my tech and I'm training him and I'm doing ride-alongs and my phone is going off every 5 minutes and I have to stop.
Now, that's where I'm struggling with right now is and I've done everything on paper up to this point. So now I'm switching over, you know, you got me going on Gorilla Desk.
I would go to Gorilla Desk, yeah.
Yeah. So now what I'm doing this winter is I'm transferring all that information over. So I have everything all together, which would be wonderful.
And 60 clients isn't going to take a whole lot when you have several hundred and you've got multiple contracts on that property. Like we have the lawn and then we have the home and then we have the mosquito control and then we have the shrub treatments and then we have the palm fertilizing. And then we have the palm treatments, and we have 6 contracts on one home.
Jeez.
And you have to transfer all that over. So it's if you have 300 clients, it's 3 times 6. Mm-hmm. Jeez. Now you see how long it's going to take to set this up. Mm-hmm. With Gorilla Desk, what are you using for keeping track of your books?
I'm going to be using QuickBooks.
QuickBooks will integrate with Gorilla Desk, so you can. But it's one way, I think, right now. It's still one way. In other words, you can import all your clients from QuickBooks into Gorilla Desk.
Okay.
But it isn't vice versa.
Okay, because I've been using Square. So just because they have the easy little Square, and a lot of people pay that. But
you can't keep track of your chemical. You can't do scheduling. You can't do all the things you can do for $49 a month, even at the $99 level for Gorilla Desk. Mm-hmm. What it saves you in time. Because mm-hmm. what have you determined your hourly rate needs to be for you to be successful?
About 75.
Okay, we got to be at 125.
Okay.
So every time I mess around with something for an hour, I just lost 125. Mm.
Yeah.
I can't. I do my accounting, bookkeeping, management, and administrative takes less than 10 hours a week.
Okay. That's pretty good then.
Because I'm investing in marketing. I'm investing in, you know, doing other things besides the administrative. They're non-revenue producing activities. They don't produce anything.
Right.
Tracking your QuickBooks, I know how much money is in the bank. I don't need QuickBooks.
Okay.
When you're that small, you've got 3,000 coming in, you got 6 going in and 3 going out. There ain't a whole lot of bookkeeping you need to know.
Yep.
It's only for the tax purposes that you need to know that. And then, but you do need the tracking, because then you're going to start forgetting. Once I think you get past 100, 150, it makes it very difficult to remember.
And that's what I'm realizing right now is I've had some people fall through the cracks because I can't, because this is my calendar right now is this
paper,
Yeah.
And if you forget,
I forget, and I mean to write down, I got to call them in 3 months, and then I forget to write it down. And that's what I like about Gorilla Desk once I get it all set up. So.
Set it up at the 49, play with it.
Well, I went ahead and did the 99 because
then it's fine. If you can afford it, that's great. That's great. Yeah. I mean, I think when we started and we were looking for software, they weren't there yet.
Okay.
And with what we needed for a growing business, they were more for the one guy at that time. That was their market release. And they didn't have a support team, and it was just a couple of people in the office. Okay. And looking back, and I said, well, would I switch and I start out with Gorilla Desk if I was a solo operator now? 100%, because they're growing. They're to the place where they worked out a lot of the bugs. They're next level now, going into multi-route, and they're there. And they're guys who got testimony that they got 7 routes that they're doing. One of my friends who's locally, he was doing what do you call it? He had 4 routes he was operating.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that is something that they are there, and they're getting better. It only gets better. So so kudos to you for that. I mean, get it in there, get it set up automatically, get the auto payment, get as many customers as you can on auto pay, so you don't have to process checks. So you don't have to can you take my payment?
Yeah.
Use the portal.
Well, and that's the other thing I was going to ask you is, how do you manage? Like, I miss a lot of phone calls because I'm with clients, because I don't want to be rude and be like, hey, you're seeing me face to face. Sorry, I got to take this phone call because could be my next job. I just let it go to voicemail, and then I call back. And sometimes I've missed them. They're like, well, I just called Orkin because they were able to answer right away.
Yeah. And that's good. I'm going to take you to your next level.
Okay.
When you're using, a lot of people are wanting to go with the marketing, with these referral sites, lead sites, lead companies. The problem with those lead sites is you have to have a dedicated person answering that phone. When you get that lead, it's got to get answered like that.
Yeah. I found that out with Home Advisor. Yeah,
with Home Advisor, with who's the other one out there that's big that everybody's hating? And
was Angie's List, but
Angie's List is more traditional, but they've changed a lot from where originally from they were on. But what happens with these guys is you got to be able to take that call, have a dedicated phone that you're taking that call immediately. You have a sales presentation. You're a salesperson, because remember, they're looking for a service. You take the order, you're off that phone in 6 minutes. That's the game. Especially when you're paying for the ads, because they're going to want to send you at a $300, $400, $500, $800 a month. They're going to produce leads. And then what you got to understand is, unless you're a salesman and you know how to close business on the phone, you can't say, well, I want to go next week and do the inspection for you. Let's close the deal right now. If it's general household pest, close the deal, have a contract. I'm going to send it to you. Here is you go into Gorilla Desk, set it up, send it to them, call them back. Because you got to respond immediately to those calls. Yeah.
I missed a lot on that on Home Advisor. And, but I was the only one in this area that they would use, but they would still send it to other companies, and other companies that had people like that were dedicated would beat me to it. So I ended up just, I'm wasting money.
That's the reality of it. Unless you can play the game, you can't, you got to pay to play. And unless you can, and then you got to outbid the other guys. If you have competition on that market, you have to outbid them in order to get more of the calls. Sometimes they'll split the leads 3 ways. In other words, they'll send the lead through all 3 companies. And then you got to be the first guy that calls back.
Yeah.
Because remember, that client is expecting instant. When you go online, they're expecting instant. When the phone rings, people over here, here's the advantage of the psychographics. This is why I mean about understanding this. Nobody expects anybody to answer the phone and return a call. I called the top 10 5 years ago, and I said, I need a quote on my house to see what the pricing was. 2 out of 10 showed up.
Jeez.
6 never even called me back. The rest would not give me price over the phone unless the tech went there.
Okay.
I took all that information and said, how do I design a program around this to deal with this? Because I understand the psychographics now. I have a 24 answering service, 24 hours, that answers all of our calls. That takes down all the information from the client, name, address, phone number, how many bedrooms, how many baths, how big is the home, what pest problem are they having, and they get all that for me. And I get a text and an email the moment that call comes through.
Oh, cool.
This is why I'm on the phone all the time. You see? So now I know that they're going to wait for us. The reason they're going to wait for us is because we are in a niche. When people are calling us, they're calling because they want an eco-friendly company. They haven't found another one. They're looking for us specifically because of my marketing, because of my YouTube. I saw your YouTube channel. This is 9 out of 10. I saw your YouTube video and I decided to call you. They're wanting me. That's what you need to do for you to overcome all those obstacles.
Okay.
Because now they're calling you because they saw you.
Okay.
Not because they are lazy and they want an instant response, because you understand the psychographic of why they're going there to that site. They're expecting an instant quote. What they end up is 3 calls and they get spammed by 3 companies.
Yeah. Yeah, I was the last third a couple times. They're like, I already called somebody. Forget it.
And because they're lazy and they're in a hurry. Those are the people. Do you want? Then the question becomes, here's the downside. Do you want that person as a customer?
Right.
When he has a problem and he calls you and he's not going to wait 5 minutes before he's going to drop you because he's always in a hurry. He doesn't have time to wait for your call back while you're with the customer.
Right. And
so you're better off not having them because of your. And then the other question you got to ask yourself, is it really rude to take a call when I'm with a client and say, can you give me 1 quick second? Let me answer this and I'll get right back to you. Listen, I'm with a client. Can I just call you right back in like 10 minutes? Oh, no, I need an answer now. I am so sorry. I can't do that right now. You see what I'm saying? And now you realize you sized up that customer, that prospect. He's not for you because he's never going to wait for you.
And a lot of times those people want the cheapest thing too.
A lot of the time. But you don't know that until you get into the conversation.
Yeah.
You see?
Right. Yeah.
So that's what I am. Those are the things that I look at and I said, what is, all of these, understanding all these things. Who's my customer? Really knowing who your customer is.
Right.
You see that who are they? They make this much money. They have this lifestyle. They own this type of home. They are, this type of personality, even where this is what you want right now because this is what you can handle right now.
Right.
Later on, when you have a person handling the phone, you might want to get that other level customer. Just not right now.
Okay.
Because you're going to get a bad rep. I called him 3 times. He never answered his phone, and you get that review online.
Yeah.
Do you answer calls on the Saturdays? What's your hours like right now?
I'm pretty much anything, but I try not to do anything on Sunday. But, all the other times I'm open whenever.
Got it. Yeah. So you need to set those boundaries too online. When you do your Google My Business, I answer my phone. Phone calls are from 8 a.m. till 6 o'clock at night or 7. I don't answer a call past 5 o'clock. I don't.
I answered one at 11 o'clock at night one time. I don't know why. It was for a bat call.
Yeah. And
I went down there for the bat and the bat wasn't there. So I gave up on that type of stuff. So
yeah. So I don't answer my phone on the weekends. I'm done with it. I'm just, because I got 2 children. I got a life. And you do it when you have to, but then when you choose not to anymore, it's okay. Then it was the guilt trip I had with myself. I'm missing out on these calls. I'm missing out. Guess what I found out? If I call them back the next morning, they're still there.
Mm-hmm.
And if they weren't and they were in emergency, I needed you now. Well, I wasn't going to drive out at 8 o'clock at night anyway, so I didn't lose anything.
Right.
It's about knowing who that customer is. Let me ask you this,
Mm-hmm.
and I want you to articulate it, but I want to know if you have it in writing. What is your USP?
I don't know what that is.
What is your unique selling proposition for your client? What are you offering that nobody else is offering in your area, that nobody's doing? What are you offering?
I don't know. I'll have to come up with something. I never thought, I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
I guess.
And that's okay. It's okay that you don't know, but you need to know now.
Okay.
Because you need to turn your business into a story that people can relate to, that they're going to call you because you represent who they are.
Okay. I mean, for me right now, it's that I'm locally owned, and that, what I say is what's going to happen, because I can't have a bad reputation. Whereas you get these other companies and they don't really care. I mean,
that is
just a number.
That is a unique selling proposition. Mm-hmm. You need to write that down in a form that it becomes part of your presentation to your client.
Okay.
When we're on the phone, when I ask my client, the first question, I've got a roach problem, I got this and that, and I just, tell me about your problem. Tell me what you're having. Mm-hmm. And they'll start telling me the problem and what they've been going through, and they tell me the whole story. I let them. Why? Because I'm going to know if there's another pest control company been messing, what they're doing, what they've done, if they've been putting out foggers, if they're doing this, if they made the problem worse. I do a consultative selling. Tell me about the problem. Tell me what you've done to solve it. Now I know that they've been trying for 6 months to a year to solve that problem, and it's really bad.
Yeah.
And I let them tell me. And I say, well, do you know anything about us? He says, no, I just saw your YouTube, or I saw you online and I got your number. Have you been to our website? Do you know anything about us? Well, no, not really. He says, well, let me tell you about us. Mm-hmm. And then I tell them our story of what we do, how we're an IPM company, how we use our process the same way they would in a hospital, how we do this in a facility. We bring that same level to your home. There's a presentation that I put in there about us. I create value. First, I listen to them. Mm-hmm. Then I told them about why our unique service is different than everybody else's that they've dealt with. I asked them, have they seen our video? I says, what I've done here, I'm going to send you a link to the video for your specific problem, how we solve it.
Okay.
And nobody's going to solve it this way. And this is why they can't solve it. This is why you're having such a hard time.
Okay.
By this point, they've already given up. They're not going to do it. Then after I've done my presentation, I quote them the price right over the phone.
Okay.
And I said, this is going to be the price to do this. Here's how many services you get. Here's why you get so many services. And here's why we have to do it that way. Does this make sense? Yes. When do you want to schedule it?
Okay.
I need to talk to my husband. Excellent. I've got your name. I've got your phone number. I'm going to put this quote in writing for you. I'm going to send you that link to that video I promised. Mm-hmm. I know they're hot because 30 seconds later, they didn't receive the link because I'm still putting the data into the system. Hey, where's that link to that video? Here it is.
Yeah.
And here's the quote is on its way. You should have it now. And I send it via text and email.
Okay.
And then my system is automatically set up right now to do a follow-up text in 24 hours.
Oh, cool.
It's going to send them a text and say, hey, we spoke yesterday. I sent you the video. It's automatic. I don't even have to do anything. And it's a follow-up text. Yeah, I talked to my husband. He said it was too much money. Done. I'm not even going to worry about it. Why? Because I don't sell against price. I did my job as a salesperson. I gave you value. I listened to you. I heard you. The only thing you cared about was the price. You're not my customer.
Okay.
And I don't lose any sleep over that. Because I done my job where nobody else took this amount of time. And I said, and I tell them, I said, good luck with anybody giving you this much information when you call anybody else. It's not going to happen. So now, if what they were really is somebody who heard them, somebody who understood their problem, somebody who could address it correctly, then the only objection is the money. I can't overcome it because I can't compete with a guy who's half my price.
Okay.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And this is why we're closing between 20 and 50%, depending who calls that day.
Okay.
I
So
don't.
you walk through them all on that. Every
The-
phone call that you get, you walk them through that whole process.
The whole process, and that takes about 6 to 10. That's a 6 to 10 minute conversation.
Okay.
And that's my USP. That's my sales presentation. That's my process.
Okay.
And that's why, I give value, because I just created an enormous amount of value. I had one girl that called me yesterday. I couldn't solve the problem because she lives in a condo association. The problem is outside of her unit in the trash chute, where the roaches are coming out of the trash chute at night, walking down the hallway and going into the houses. And I said, you have to address this with the owner, but she's a renter in a unit, and the owner of the unit is on the board. And she watched my videos and she called me and I said, listen, I can't help you with this because I can't touch that outside area. Do this. Here's how you would solve that. Talk to them. He says, yeah, they sprayed this stuff and it smelled, and now they were all over the walls and everywhere, and they caused all these roaches to spread. I said, the company doesn't know what they're doing. Tell the owner he's free to give me a call, give him my number direct, share the videos with him, and I would be more than glad to talk to him about your situation.
Okay.
Says, you've been so nice and you've been so awesome. I'm going to give you a Google review because nobody's helped me.
Oh, wow.
That's worth $50, that Google review right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even if you couldn't help them, hey, you do me a favor. I helped you in any way. Can you give me a review?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's how you start. You're putting stuff in the bank all the time that isn't monetary, but it will have an impact later.
Okay.
Because when somebody reads a heartfelt review versus just 5 stars, they know it's genuine. They know it wasn't solicited. They know that you didn't pay somebody for that review. People are intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
They can sniff the BS.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's what we are about. We're about that care. We're about that. Our people are about the same care. Are you planning in the future about growing to hire, or you just at this point you're just focused on yourself?
I would like to eventually. Yeah. I mean, with everything going on right now,
right.
With the election and all that stuff, I'm kind of glad I don't right now, just because I don't know where this is all going to go.
It's going to go fine.
Okay. Well,
it went fine with the last 44 presidents.
Yeah, that's true.
We can't read into that because you're reading into something that you can't base your business strategy on the ups and downs of the market. I mean, who would have told me that because we had a COVID that the stock market would actually go up?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that Bitcoin was $6,000 in March, and it's at $33,000 now.
Yeah, makes you go, oh, I wish I would have bought back then.
Yeah, and so you can't do that. You need to base your strategy on people are always going to have pest problems. Mm-hmm. The chances of everybody losing their income is 0 to none. Did we hurt? Yes, we hurt. I changed my strategy and I got really aggressive. I 6x'd my marketing dollars during the time where nobody knew what was going to happen. I increased it.
Okay.
That's what you have to do. You have to basically, when the time gets hard, you increase what you're doing. That you double down and triple X on what it is that you're doing that was working.
Okay.
You see, you can't read it. What's going to happen? You can't put your life on hold.
Yeah.
Because
that's kind of what I've been doing the last week or so, and it's just like this is killing me.
No, move ahead. Move to the strategy. You got all this time on your hands. Mm-hmm. Get on it. Watch 100. Go spend. You want to know how to do YouTube videos? Go watch 100 YouTube videos. Okay. You want to know about Facebook? Spend 8 to 40 hours on Facebook.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the price you're going to pay. It's you invest your own time, and you try it and you error it. But if you want to know how to do YouTube videos for local, there's probably 100 YouTube videos for local right now out there for 2021. Okay. And learn it. That's what I've been doing. I mean, once you get to that point, have you ever managed before in your life? Managed people?
I did. I had an insurance company once. I had to hire and fire people. I was miserable. I was as far as because they didn't do what they were supposed to, and I ended up losing the company. It was bad.
Can I tell you something really hard to swallow right now?
Yes.
That's all your fault.
Oh yeah, I know. It was. I wasn't. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, and that's okay, but you learn. But but the good thing is that you learning to hire and learning to fire very quickly, and almost as if you had no compassion, because You can be compassionate with people, but I make people very clear. This is what we're about. This is what we do. Can you come over and work for me for a week and then me fire you because you couldn't deliver on what you said? Because this resume you have, this isn't what the paper is printed on, because there's a whole bunch of embellishment in here, and I know.
Right.
I can't verify with your employer if you're really this good. He's never going to tell me because you don't want to leave your job.
Right.
I can't verify only that you work from this day to this day to this date. I can see you had so many jobs, but this sounds really good. Can you actually pull it off? How good are you really? I'm that good. Okay. So if in a week that you're here, you can't pull this off, I have to get rid of you. Can you stomach that and go back to your other job, or can you go find another job because you're that good? Well, no, there you have your answer.
Yeah.
And you have to be that brutal because you have to be that candid and transparent with people. And when you're Mr. Nice, because I can see you're a nice guy, but you can be a nice guy, but understand that I have things that I require of you, and I'm going to require of you. And these are the milestones. Like, you have to have an onboarding process. This is what you're going to go through your first week, your first 40 hours. This is what you're going to go your first month. This is going to be your first 3 months. And say, can you move at this pace that I need you to?
Right.
And we're going to find out, because the moment I know you can't, and this is one of the classic tales, hiring is going to be guessing all the time. 100% of the time you're guessing. You just got to get better at the guessing.
Okay.
But you're going to know in your gut that guy's never going to work out like that.
Okay.
And here's what's going to happen. You're a nice guy, and you say, I don't want to get rid of him because I feel bad. But you knew in your heart of hearts at that moment that guy was never going to work out.
That's what happened at the insurance company. I knew, like you said, in my gut, like they weren't going to work out. Yeah. But I was like, well, I'll keep. And then I didn't make the expectations clear. I've realized later,
I did the same thing. I done the same thing. And then I realized I was doing them a disservice and me a disservice. And doing my customers a disservice. And in the end, you lost your company, so you can't do that anymore. One of the things that when you decide to hire, look at this company, because this is going to help you and me a lot, because we tend to look at people and we tend to think everyone is nice, everyone's honest, everyone's going to do what they say they're going to do.
That's right. That's what you're supposed to.
and the reality is another. What we think and what we know are two different things. Look at a company called Criteria Corp. And start looking into them early. It's going to cost you. Once you start getting into HR and platforms, this company, we use them to do our profile. I've turned this company onto a couple other guys. And I said, why did you hire that guy? And it says, because we needed him. I said, did you look at his bio? Did you look at because what it does is it tests, it's a platform that does all kinds of testing. It does personality profile testing. We do it on 3 levels, 3 different personality profiles. Why? Because you can cheat on one, you can't cheat on all 3.
Okay.
And then we do aptitude testing for mechanical aptitude testing. Can this guy really use your hands? Or is he just all up here? Because he can talk all the good talk, but can he actually do it with his hands?
Right.
We do math testing and reading testing. So this is about a 75-minute test. If your guy isn't willing to get a job, to go through a 75-minute test to get a job, guess what? He's never going to be willing to take a course on anything else. That right there automatically eliminated that guy.
Okay.
You're eliminating all the weekends, and you're only sticking to that top 10% that's going to be able to deliver on you. Okay. That top 10% is 50-50 guessing still. But you're better off at 50-50 guessing than 80-20.
Yeah.
And then that's when I do the interviews after that. But I said, are you using the profiles? Did you spend the $1,600 for the year? No, my manager didn't even look at it. He just made a gut decision. I said, and is he right? No, he's totally wrong. I said, what did I tell you? Look, I'm going to look at that profile. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with this guy without even looking at him. He's like this, like this. He says, yeah, you nailed it. And I said, yeah, because when you've done a couple of hundred of these, you become very good at it. Everything is repetition. How many rodent jobs do you have to do before you become good at rodents?
Quite a few.
The same way you're going to have to do with hiring. You're going to have to stomach that.
Yeah.
You see the response? That nobody wants to go through that. That's the reality.
That's time and money,
It is. It cost me about $2,000 just to find the right guy right now.
Okay.
About $2,000 just to find him. That's not training him. So this is why I'm saying if you've got the tools to start implementing to be able to see past all the BS that people are going to give you. And then I do video interviews. I automated that I do with, I got a company I think called Easy Hire. And I think there's two of them, but there's one that's called Easy Hire. That's the video platform. And I can automate an interview. And then they go to that link and they take the interview online. And then I can see them before I can just see 2 minutes later. I've said, this guy's never going to make it.
Okay.
I don't even have to waste my time with them. I'm not going to do a one-on-one interview with everybody. Only the top 1% that can make it. And then I invest my time in those guys. Then I say, let's go have coffee and let's talk about, your resume looks decent, but here's where the rubber meets the road. If you can't cut it in a week, and I see you can't cut it in a week, the moment I take my backpack out and I put it right back in, and he takes it, he just tosses it in there, I know he's done.
Yeah.
He's because you're gonna give him a brand new organized truck, and in 2 weeks, I've been so busy, I haven't been able to organize my truck.
Yeah.
Well, I did it while I was running a company, working 60 to 80 hours a week, starting at 4 a.m, finishing up at midnight, and taking all the calls and taking everything. How much of this are you doing?
Yeah.
Excuses. So, and what we're looking for is the soft skills. The technical part you train on. You're looking for those soft skills. That's what you're going to see in all these profiles. Start studying those profiles because they got free samples.
Okay.
You see, and I wish I could send you some of mine, but they have people's names on them, and I can't divulge their personal information.
Right. No, that's fine.
But I might be able to white it out, do some PDFs, and then I'll white out. I'll take it on. I'll open it up on Adobe and see if I can delete and then resave it where it blocks it all out, and you can see on these profiles how and what I'm looking for. And there's certain things you don't want. You don't want the guy that wants to be an entrepreneur. He's going to run your business.
Yeah.
So all of this, so finding the right person is where it gets hard for you because you haven't done it. You did it unsuccessfully. You're like, man, I got to stomach this. This is going to be expensive. I'd rather go through this process than to hire people and keep making mistakes because intuitively my gut isn't that good.
Right.
Some people are. Some people are good at reading other people and say, this guy, I know I can have a conversation with a guy for 2 minutes and know he's full of crap. But I can also be fooled by a guy who's pretty crafty.
Right.
And they've learned the process of, they know you're not going to verify employment. Then you got to do a complete background check on this guy. I do 50 state background check.
Oh, do you? Okay.
FBI background check, federal. Pedophile list.
Oh, yeah.
And then every county that he lists that he lived in, I pull a record from that county.
Oh, man.
Because here's the difference. That guy's not going to work in a retail environment where you have cameras all over the place and you can watch him.
That's right. Yeah.
He's going into people's homes and you don't know who's going in there. That's different.
Yeah, that's.
So the right guy might say, well, if you don't hire me now, it puts pressure on you. I'm going to go to ABC company. Fine, go to ABC company. I'm not going to give into that pressure. I don't have any fear of missing out. I want to find the right guy with the right culture and the right fit for what we do.
See, I did have one interview when I started working for Rose. I just walked in. I noticed there was a job opening. And so I just walked in with my resume and handed it to them. And they're like, oh, do you used to work for McLeod's? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to call them up. They went to the other room and called them right up. Said, would you hire Geoff back? And they're like, absolutely. They're like, you're hired.
Right. But they got that relationship.
Yeah.
When you're Geoff calling McLeod, they're like, you're going to need to submit a form. It takes 2 weeks to process. You got to go through all these. And these guys target small companies because they know once they're burned in the industry, once they're burned in other industries, they start working for little independent companies because they know they're not going to have all this infrastructure in place.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And they played, and I've had burn with that because the guy, I couldn't verify anything. And I had to go with what he told me. His record was clean, but turned out he was stealing hours. Then he would go home and not work. And he wouldn't want to use the company phone. He insisted on using his phone. So now you got to use the phone. Now the trucks are GPSed. The phone is GPSed. I know where I know where that is at every moment of the day. I know where that vehicle is. Mm-hmm. I know how long he was on that stop.
Yeah.
And luckily I have guys that are trustworthy that I don't really have to worry, but I get the eventual call. Your guy was never at my house.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I said, yes, he was. Hold on. And I pulled the GPS data and I pulled up and said, look, the truck says he was there. The phone says he was there. The report was signed in at this time, by the way. Mm-hmm. And your husband signed for it, by the way.
Yeah.
Because they don't talk to each other. I've had that where I asked my husband, he said he wasn't there. Baloney, she never asked him. Later at night, I get the email. My husband turns out that told me he was there. She never apologized, but that's how they are. She didn't make the call. She just said, no, he didn't because,
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I haven't had that yet. So,
but understand we're in a huge city. Everybody lies. I mean, it's just, that crime and all that lying and everybody's doing their own thing. It's just really high. And you got a small town where everybody knows each other. You might all go to the same church. There's only two churches in town. Yep. You got the Methodist church and you've got, the Presbyterian church. And that's it. There's nothing else. And, pick the two you want, but that's what you're going to be.
You don't have a choice.
Not a whole lot of choice, So everybody knows everybody. Everybody eats at the same morning restaurant. So big differences, man. Anything you got for me? Any questions? I mean, something I haven't asked you? Or
you've answered almost all of them that I have. I mean, okay, so, all right. So why do you make, I wanted to do wildlife stuff. I wanted to do all this stuff, but now I'm realizing, well, for one, I don't really enjoy it. I'm not good at it. I don't have training in it. I just thought, well, I can pick it up. And so I've kind of let my wildlife license, I got to renew it, but I'm not going to push it. Do you focus on just a narrow thing that you do, general or general pest control for houses, and then you do business and that's it? You added, did you start just narrow and then you eventually gradually worked out, or you just stay narrow? And
no, I started wide.
Did you?
Very, very wide, and I learned the hard way.
Okay.
I started doing. I originally my company before I was working for a pest control company that was local that understood what I wanted. I want to work for you. I'm going to leave. I'm going to start up. That was the deal.
Okay.
And that was upfront from the get-go. I started a landscape company before that because I was doing mostly L&L.
Okay.
So I had but then I expanded into doing property services. I was doing work in a very wealthy area where the average home at that time was $500,000 to $1 million.
Oh, wow.
They were all rich Venezuelans coming here with all their money, exiting Venezuela. They were taking all of their oil money, all of their corporations, everything, taking it out of and bringing it here. They were buying $1 million homes cash and then dumping another 250 in remodeling and bringing it up to new standards.
Wow.
And I was doing a lot. So we would do, I was subcontracting out home repairs. We were subcontracting fences, and we were doing animal trapping, and we were doing bee service, and we were doing all of this in-house. And what happened was I was doing a lot of it, subcontracting out what I couldn't do. And you think it's managing employees, managing subcontractors has its own problems because they're not your boss, you're not an employee. You can't be telling them what to do. And that was a whole issue. And then I started trying to dabble in wildlife, and I was we had a pool service business end of it. So we were doing so many things. Wow. And the only thing that was truly profitable was pest control, the only division. After 5-6 years I've been in it myself, the pest control was producing 50% of the profit for the company. The profit. Not the revenue. A revenue also, but also 50% of the profit. The other threes were producing 10, 20, 30% margins. I said, why am I working at all this when the real money is in pest control? I had the aha moment. And I just said, I'm going to close it down. And I did. And I said, I'm shutting it all down and I'm going to focus on pest control.
Okay.
And then I had to build up the pest control business to where it is. So here's two things. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean you're going to make money at it. Just because you like it doesn't mean you're going to make money at it.
Okay.
So what I do now is I'm expanding back up now. We're doing residential. I don't do commercial.
Okay.
I'm about 95% residential. I have very little commercial. I only have like 2 commercial properties left. One of them that is a commercial is actually residential commercial, which
okay.
is like I think 1,600 condos in that unit, and they're spread out to like a quarter mile, and that's a residential client really. But now I'm getting into bed bug service. I started adding bed bug service, but now I have an apprehend bed bug service, and now I have employees that can do it where I don't have to spend 4 hours.
Right. That's what I'm doing now too, is with apprehend.
We're going
Wonderful.
out. We're expanding to another county now, and now we're going to hit that market. And I'm still not going to do wildlife because I don't have the expertise. But I'm going to get into termite. So I'm going to go take all my courses. I'm going to get all my certifications. I'm getting the learner permit for me to learn it, to do it. But I understand construction. I understand pest biology. So to me, it's so much easier. I'm not going to do tents. I'll refer the tents out. I don't want to get into fumigation.
Right.
We're going to do tentless termite treatment. Stations and borates, and we're going to be doing, that's what we're going to be doing for these homes. And the fipronil trenching and borage for subterranean dry wood, we're going to be doing tentless termite treatment. Okay. But I'm expanding to that now after I have the employees. Because I don't have to do it. I can get the work for them and I can hire for that.
Okay.
I just got to become really good at it so I know when I'm seeing somebody that is doing it the way it should be done.
All right.
So I get the experience, but I get the experience now with the intent of hiring and training someone to do it, not me doing it.
Okay.
So I might go in the field 3 times a day, 3 times a week, and get into the crawl spaces and do all this and do all that for me to learn. But I ain't doing it.
Right.
I'm hiring.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to realize now. I'm starting to get to that age to where, I don't know, it's hard on the body. And that's one reason I thought about, well, eventually in a year or two, hiring some people to where, I'm not out in the field all the time. I'm doing sales and that type of stuff and having them do the work.
Of course.
Hire some younger people.
Yeah,
you my boys. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you plan for it. What I would want you to do is start putting together a savings fund.
Okay.
Where you're putting away X amount of your profit first.
Okay. That's why I still think I'm a couple years off.
Anywhere between a 1% to 5% maybe of your profit first. Okay. Of your sales. In other words, you'll have a fund, because here's what will happen. You're going to grow. You're going to get to an inflection point where you can't do it all yourself anymore, and then you don't have enough money or profit to hire.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you're going to get to that. The problem is you're going to get to that, and you're going to get to that resenting it.
Okay.
Because you didn't have enough. And so start putting away. In other words, don't take 50% of your revenue, which is probably what you're taking. Because you're taking it all out because you only have so many clients. Get to the point where you're making more money, but you stay with the same salary. You don't increase your salary for the next 2 years.
Okay.
Because your profit's going to go up, your margins are going to go up, but you're still living with the same salary. In other words, live as poor as you can right now.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that you will take that extra money and put it into a savings account. So when you need to hire that guy, because very quickly you're going to find out that it's going to cost you $2,000 to hire, and then it's going to cost you $2,000, $5,000-6,000 to train. And then that guy's not going to work out. He's going to have to fire him. You're going to start all over, and you're going to burn up $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 in 3 months hiring people. And you got to have that money in the bank.
Okay.
Second, when you're hiring people, you're going to have to crank up your marketing.
Right.
Because you're going to have to produce now revenue very quickly to pay for that salary. You're going to have to guarantee him a salary. You can't hire somebody and say, I'm going to pay you 18% commission off of nothing. By the way, go bust your butt and work it up. He's not an owner.
Right.
He has no incentive to do that. So you got to provide that $1,500 maybe a month salary, whatever that minimum salary is, while you're building that up. Or what I did was I split my route and gave 50% of the work to this guy, 50%, and then built them both up. But I paid him one as a complete salary. The other one is part-time.
Okay.
because he wanted part-time. He's a college student.
Right.
And it works out great. So it's about cutting the deals. What's good and what are you going to need? And then you can realize that you're going to need to have another mouth to feed.
Yeah.
That you got to take that income away from you, and you're going to say, but he wants to make almost what I'm making.
Right.
And I say, yeah, because you held off making the money because you're building equity.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. He's working for a living.
Mm-hmm.
You're building equity in your business. So that's why I said, if you can live with $36,000 a year and you're doing fine with $36,000 a year and your wife doesn't want a new car every 2 years.
All right.
You see what I'm saying? Then you're able to live as you live now for the next 2 years and not take any more money out.
Mm-hmm.
And then put that away and build it up so that you do have $35,000 in the bank somewhere to cover that technician for a year while you turn all the work over him. You dump it all on him and you start releasing it as he's able. But here's the problem. If you get into wildlife and you get into bees and you get into this and you get into that, then how are you going to get a guy you're just going to dump all this on and have him and expect him to have your 5 years of experience? He's not going to have it.
Right.
And if you hire a guy with experience, how much trouble are you buying?
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I never thought of it that side. Yeah.
But if you see, everything has a pro and a con. You want just that water tech where you're not a good manager and you're not a good leader and you're not a good trainer and you're going to manage by abdication and dump it on him and expect him to be able to know wildlife. And he might have learned it. He learned it half butt.
Right.
And
but then
now
it's my reputation on the line, or my company's reputation.
So I would rather you build up just one thing, whatever you,
okay.
Have an 80-20 rule where 80% of our business is going to be residential pest control and 20% of it is this right now as to buffer up my income or savings or whatever, but it isn't 50% of your business.
Okay.
Because then if you start losing it and you can no longer manage it, maybe you turn over the GHP to him. Just a regular household pest control, and then you handle all the wildlife and bat and all this.
Okay.
Because that's only 20% of your time. Most of your time is selling now.
Okay.
Because you're going to have to transition from a technician probably into a manager sales role, admin role.
Gotcha.
But you took 50% of your weight off of you, where now you can focus on the sales part.
Right.
And then to buffer your income, because you still need some more income, maybe you're doing that 20% and that pays you while you're siphoning it off, because you're going to cannibalize your business somehow.
Right.
This whole idea that you're going to go from here to here to here with no cannibalization is not going to happen.
Right.
Not unless you bring in a partner. And then now you have another issue because you got a guy with cash, but he's going to pull all the strings. You borrow the money from the bank, you owe it to them.
Right.
You still have a partner. He's just a bank.
Yeah.
He decides he's going to call the loan on you.
Yep.
You better have another bank in place to get another loan, because he's going to call that $500,000 loan on you. So those are the things that it's going to happen. You're going to go through the pain. And I say you're going to go to that 60, 70-hour weeks. And then you're going to be able to hire, because how much percentage does that route have to be full before you can actually hire? Can you hire it at 80%?
Right. Yeah.
Do you hire at 95% full, at 100, or do you have to wait till you get to 120% where you're waking up at 6 a.m. and you're going to bed at 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And then do you have the marketing dollars in place to be able to crank up the sales so that now you're taking 5-6 calls a day? Now you need to be taking 10 to 12.
Right. Yeah. And opening up another area almost. So yeah, those are the pitfalls that I went through, that I just learned to hire quickly because I am a salesman. And I know how to go out and hustle the business. Okay.
Where my guy, I know I can cover his salary, no worries. I always hired a guy. And it's just I had so many people because I was doing so many things, but my resources were all over the place. I mean, I literally have a guy 50 miles away, a group of 12 guys, not kidding, 6 guys.
Oh my gosh.
Painting a townhomes in one day, so we could paint that in one day because the realtor wanted to put it on the market the next day.
Oh, wow.
And
Jeez.
I would have a crew of 12 people while I had my landscape crew down here. And I had another guy doing an installation, a landscape build installation. And I'm over there and I get the call that he just hit a water main and there's water everywhere.
Jeez.
That was the reality. That was my 14-hour days driving and making calls and being on that's why you see me with a headset, because I'm constantly on the phone. Again, your market is probably not that volatile. It's not that, but you have to manage a lot of things. And now you got the employee that wants to manage this and wants to do this, and he wants to do it his way because he was taught. And now you have this understanding that it's going to get done my way until I know that you know enough to make those calls.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
I just had it the other day. One of my texts. Thank God nothing happened. We use inside the home. I had told them the only foam we use is this one, Daptex foam to seal. It's white. It doesn't expand. It stays where you put it. It's water cleanup. I don't want you using another foam. He goes and he tells me, the other day that can clogged up. And I said, what can clogged up? And I said, yeah, that can of foam I bought clogged up. And it says, they don't clog up. And I said, what did you buy? He says, well, I bought this yellow foam.
Oh, no.
And I said, you used it in the home? He says, yeah. And I said, bro, that thing expands. It looks horrible and anything. Why did you use that foam? We're not allowed to use it. I already told them this. Luckily, that straw didn't explode in there. Can you imagine we do $1 million homes where the vanity could cost $3,000?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
And all of a sudden that foam, and that's not water cleanup. That's, solution cleanup. You got to take some solvents to clean that up.
Oh, yeah.
And then you touch anything, and all of a sudden the guy says, you need to replace my vanity because that's $3,000, so-and-so designer vanity.
Yeah.
Gosh. Those are the things that the guy doesn't think about, the tech doesn't think about. And I said, why did you? Because they ran out. You go to another store and you buy the other one, and you tell me we order it online, we ship it, and we get it here. But why are you waiting till your last can to let me know when I'm told you carry 3 in your truck? When you pull the last one, you order. You tell me it needs to be ordered.
Yeah.
And it doesn't register. Jeez. Like I ran out of fertile. I ran out of one chemical. Why? You had plenty of time yesterday to go to the supplier and buy it. Why are you running around without that chemical, applying another one? And now we're using up the time that we have because we only get 6 applications a year of that product. And now you just, because you reapplied it again, you should shorten it to 5 instead of rotating. Yep. And even though, so this is why protocol, policy, have everything written down. Start writing down everything that's in your head now. See, you have all the time in the world into protocol. This is how we do an initial service. These are the steps. Write everything down into steps that you have a written program.
Okay.
By the time you hire your first guy, you will have an entire onboarding process program.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Start now. Don't wait till you need it to then try to do it because you're going to be too busy. And that's the time you're going to say, I don't even have time to wipe my butt correctly. It's chafing all day because it's dirty because I can't wipe it right. I don't have enough time. So this is the time where you want to do that. You want to put everything that's in your head, start dumping it onto paper.
Okay.
Somewhere. Create a Word document and just start dumping it.
Okay.
Because now you will have an onboarding, because 60% of your people will quit within the first week if you don't have a good onboarding program.
Okay.
Especially when you're dealing with millennials.
Okay. Because
if they feel very insecure, they get so insecure so quickly. I have one of my techs is a millennial, and if he's like, I ask him to do something new he's never done, and I can just see his eyes rolling back and going, okay, and you're telling me to do this because it's not registering. It's that insecurity they have. And so I have to, okay, you're going to do it this way. I'm going to send them a text. Follow this instruction. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And then he can get it done. And like he'll run into stuff all of a sudden. Like, I just never seen this before. Like he's never seen drain fly larvae in a bathroom, and he had no clue what it was and how he was going to treat it. There's just things you can't train for because you never come across it. This is the first time I have actually come across crawling all over the place.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh!
And we never saw the fly, but we saw the larvae. So I teach on that 80 to 90%. Then the other 20 he learns it as he goes along. But I got to get him 80% on right now. that he can produce money for me
Okay.
within the first week. And then for GHP, they'll run with me a week. They're going to see everything in a week.
Mm-hmm.
For lawn and ornamental, I got to run with that guy for a month.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
And even then, it's going to be hard for the first year because we have all the winter cycles.
Oh, yeah. You have all those different seasons. Yeah.
So the plants behave differently in all different seasons. There's different pests and there's different diseases. And I tell them, you need to be patient with yourself. Mm-hmm. I do more coaching than I do. I got to say, you need to be patient with yourself. You're going to encounter all these problems throughout the seasons. And you're not prepared for that. And I can't prepare you for that. You have to experience it. Mm-hmm. And so that consulting and that constant holding of hands until 6-9 months later, that guy, so one of my techs can order his own product already. He can go pick it up at the supplier. He knows where his min-maxes are. I gave him a min-max list. When you go to the place, you pick up your product. This is your min-max. When it's on your truck and it's down to this much, you carry 2 gallons of this, 1 of this. When it's down to a third, you reorder.
Okay.
And now, if he can't order it at the supplier, then he puts it on our Pest routes, makes a note. I know to order it the next day, and I have it. And then once it gets in, he can have it. So I start delegating responsibility as I see they can manage it. I don't want to. I don't want to say you got to order your product and you got to manage. You got to clean the van. You got to do this. You got to do learn wildlife. You're going to drown them.
Okay.
Baby steps based on, and one guy is going to learn quicker than another. One guy is going to be great at German roaches. The other guy isn't.
Right.
And it's a learning process, bro. It's exciting, but I enjoy that process. Some people, it's terrifying because they do not enjoy the process.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle. I like it. It'd be awesome to, be able to help somebody else out and, see what they can do. Maybe they'll end up really enjoying it. But also at the same time, I'm just like it to be me, myself, and I. And
and
I do this,
and I am the kind of guy, since I by nature am a teacher and a trainer. Mm-hmm. It's my nature. I want to train people up. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at what I can do to create business, to create more jobs, and create that whole entrepreneurial process is exciting for me. Mm-hmm. For most people, it's being a solo operator is about as exciting as they want it to get. Mm-hmm. And where are you in that whole mix? And maybe you want to get to 2 to 3 people, but then you need to be transparent and say, guys, I'm not going to grow to a 10-man company. I don't want to be, you're going to work for me. And if a year from now, you'll get regular raises, but understand there's not going to be any management opportunities.
Right.
Having that conversation up front is going to get you the right person, because then, we have growth opportunities. We'll quantify and qualify that. What does that mean? We have to have that transparency. So yeah, man, I think you got enough there to keep you busy for the next winter. When do you start thawing out and started going back to regular pest control?
Normally it's about March, the end of March, April. But this year we haven't even gotten hardly any snow. It's just been weird.
Yeah.
The ground hasn't even been hard.
So you're still getting some business, even though you got overwintering of a lot of pests. People are still seeing rodent problems and things like that because there's no snow. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm still getting calls once in a while for bees that, they're like, hey, it's warm enough. I'm going to start flying out now. And so it's just weird. Weird. So there you go. So you've got enough there, man, to, like I said, keep you busy for the next couple of months while your business picks up. Mm-hmm. Start making pick one and start working at it and growing the business. I think you're going to be fine. You're in a great area. Sounds like you've got an awesome opportunity. I think you're going to be fine. Well, I appreciate it. And thank you for spending time talking to me too. I appreciate that.
No, man, I really enjoyed it. And I want to help a lot of people, as many as we can. I think this is going to help a lot of people.
Good.
Everybody's in the same boat. And sometimes we all think we got something special. Mm-hmm. We just might be in a different market, different area, different thing. But the reality is we're pretty much all in the same boat. It's the same challenges. It's how we learn to solve. That's really it.
Those first couple months, even year, that's scary as all get out. Yeah. You don't wake up knowing you're going to get paid. That took a while to get used to. It's like, no, it's up. It's me.
And the good thing is, wife looks like she had a good, business, good work that could help you during that time.
Yeah. My dream is to be able to repay her now to where if she wants to retire, from teaching early, she can, as far as either helping me out or, whatever.
Yeah.
So she's already, that'd be great.
No, that's
awesome. My goal.
That you can do that. And yeah, man, those first steps are scary. And that helps that you have a partner that in your life that said, yeah, I believe in you. I see it. And you can do it. Because sometimes when you're the main breadwinner and there's like, how are we going to pay the bills if you take off?
Right.
That's a challenge. Some guys are more confident than others. I've always jumped, this isn't my first one, and I know I can go out and sell. So if I can sell, I can learn the technical stuff later. That's it. Yep. But for some people, the technical stuff and then the sell doesn't come easy.
You kind of have to be good at both. I mean, right. I've seen some techs that they could not sell. They just like the tech part of it. So,
all right. So he's going to be here in a minute. So yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for.
Let's do a follow up on this. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
Let's do wait till after the summer, maybe next year at the end of the season.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
See how much you've actually implemented and what the results were, and I'd be interested in finding out what you've accomplished.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be happy to do that.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, brother. Take care of yourself.
Yep, we'll see you.
See you.